So let's have a look at the first of the three poisons, as it was referred to by Buddha. And the first one is this idea of ignorance. And this is when you don't know that you don't know. And look, we talk about in the notes here that there's been so many movies around this whole notion, movies like The Stepford Wives or The Truman Show, Dead Poets Society, Pleasantville, where people are living these autopilot lives. And when you look around you, that's what's happening predominantly in the world around us. This is where you basically live life based on how you were programmed to imagine life to be. So, what does a relationship look like? How you keep your home, how you deal with your finances. So much of this is a direct result of the way in which you were programmed. And basically you're repeating those patterns of behaviour, thinking that you're in control, but in fact it's all happening as a result of habit and autopilot. So what does it look like? You live life habitually, unaware that things could be different. An example is the dietary choices are influenced by upbringing or advertising. Suffering, they're only aware there is a problem when they experience pain. Current remedy is treating the symptom, and then the mindful remedy to overcome ignorance requires them to acknowledge their lack of awareness and expand their understanding. So list examples of times when you've been ignorant. So, for example, and I'm going to share some of my situations. During my formative years, I learnt that being able to seek pleasure was a way of being able to deal with painful times, and comfort eating was number one for me in that. And so I would resort to foods that were obviously high fatty foods or high sugar foods because they tasted better, it was more pleasurable. The consequence of that being is that by the time I get to my 40s, I'm 143 kg. I'm an incredibly large man at that point. And so totally ignorant to the drivers that were having me resort to those choices around eating. Another way that I was able to maintain pleasure was through consumerism. And so there's a certain amount of pleasure that comes with buying stuff. And so as a result of that, it was much easier to engage being the consumer and not be conscious of financial management. So where my comfort eating resulted in me eventually being 143 kg, my poor financial management ended up in my situation, it resulted in me experiencing bankruptcy. So what happens is that we will continue to do these behaviours until such times as they cause us to suffer. And it's at those points, and this is the beauty and the gift of suffering, is that it wakes us up to our ignorance. So take a moment to think about the times where you've been ignorant throughout your life and the sort of suffering that has caused you.